Hello and welcome to the Trimble Business Center version 390 intro video of drafting in the new cutting plane view. This is new to TBC version 390 and we'll be creating custom line strings from catenary power lines from a sample SX10 dataset. Here's our dataset in Trimble Business Center. This is a lovely Colorado landscape with some high tension, high transmission power lines along a roadway. So I'm going to click on the point clouds tab, and first of all, as you can see, here's our high tension lines. There's some houses running along the lines as well, and what we're going to do here is show you the capability of the point clouds module where we can automatically classify regions, buildings, ground, high vegetation, poles and signs, and power lines. So first of all, I'm going to select our point cloud region. There it is. And the classes to extract, I'm going to go ahead and extract all of them just so you can see what this tool really does. Regions all classified. I have jumped ahead in the video, but I kid you not, that took about 90 seconds to classify into these different regions. So as you can see, the power lines, our area of interest here for drafting in the cutting plane, have been classified to this yellow colored region. That is the power lines region. And in the plan view, the ground, as you can see over here, is brown colored. The houses are in a blue color. And what we'll do now is we will clarify our data and remove these point cloud regions from our view. So in the point cloud regions, in the View Filter Manager, I'm going to turn off default. That's all of the area that wasn't classified in any of the 5 pre-built extract classified point cloud regions. I'm going to turn off the buildings. There you go, the houses. I'm going to turn off the ground. I'm going to turn off poles and signs. And so what I'm left with is high vegetation and power lines. The power lines, as I mentioned, are in yellow, and power line towers are classified as high vegetation. These tools in TBC are just that. They're tools. They're not absolute. They will help you along the way. And so I really like this data set because while the classification isn't perfect, of course, these are not trees, it does highlight the point that this extract classified point cloud region automatically simplifies minutes, maybe even hours of work for your draftsman in TBC. All right, so now I'm going to introduce to you the concept of a cutting plane. I'm going to close my 3D view. I'm remaining in the point clouds tab, and I'm going to go into cutting plane view. Now, cutting plane view works with plane definitions. I like viewing this in cutting plane view because I can get a little bit quicker real-time response to the cutting plane definition that I am creating. So in my cutting plane view on the lower half of my screen, in the define plane, I don't have anything selected because I don't have any cutting planes defined. I'm going to hit the drop-down window and say New Plane Definition. Plane Definition Manager launches. I'm going to say New, and I'm going to define a name for my cutting plane. We are wanting to extract the power line from a portion of this data set, so I'm going to call it power line. And then I'm left here with a bunch of different options: perpendicular to east axis, perpendicular to the north axis, perpendicular to the elevation axis, which leads to a horizontal plane, parallel to the active view, 3 points, which allows the user to customize their cutting plane using 3 picked points, 2 points, and then a normal from that definition, a vertical plane from your current view, and then if you have an existing planar object, you can also create that as a cutting plane. I'm going to define this via a vertical plane, which is based on 2 points. And those 2 points, I'm going to pick the center of 2 of these structural towers so I can really get a good view of the power lines. I can adjust that cutting plane view based on the cutting plane thickness. It was at 1/2 meter. I'm going to change that to 5 meters, and I get a little bit more of my overhead lines. Change that to 10 meters, and I get the entirety of the point cloud data along these power line towers. We can now draft in the cutting plane view, and to do that we use our regular CAD tools. So in the cutting plane view, with it open like I have it here, I'm going to go into CAD, and I want to draft these sagging high tension power lines. I'm going to go into CAD, line string. I'll give it a name for demonstration's sake. I'll call it power lines. Hit OK. And then from here, it's looking for a start point. I'll start with the very top of this power line in one of the middle sections. And I've created the start point. I will go in, since this is a curve, I will change the segment type to smooth curve to best fit a curve to the data set. So I just drafted a 3D line in my cutting plane view that will then be active in any other view I choose. So it's a little bit hard to see from my plane view. I'll go into views and launch a 3D view. It's docked to my lower station here. I still want to see my cutting plane, so I'll dock it up here. Still a little bit hard to see, so I will turn off all my point clouds. And there is this catenary line that I just drafted. I'll turn my point clouds back on. I wanted my high veg and my power lines. And I will go ahead and draft the remaining of my lines. Alright, so as I'm finishing up here, that just took a minute or two to draft these 4 lines. When I am completed with these lines, I can use these now for point creation, for inclusion into a plan set, or I can export these as a DXF or DWG to an external CAD program. I hope you've learned a little bit from the new features, the drafting features in the cutting plane view. Thank you for watching, and enjoy TBC version 390.